saw the drawing at Dinosaur Canyon where you could trace the dinosaurs. I really liked the theory that we found out here about how the dinosaurs ate away that food source and then that's how they died out. I like fossicking for shark teeth and stuff.
Winton, here we come.
We have made it. We are rolling into the dinosaur capital of Australia. Did you know that has?
Oh, Harry.
Dinosaur Trail.
How do you feel about that?
Good.
You got your dinosaur t-shirt ready? It's in the washing machine, it's all good.
We have some exciting news. Nanny and Poppy and their dog's gonna be there.
Wow.
So my parents are actually joining us for this part of the trip. So the next couple of weeks leading up to Townsville, they've come up from Melbourne and have moved up through the inland New South Wales and Queensland. And they're going to meet us at Winton, so the boys are super excited.
Let's go have some cuddles, boys. We're on our way out this morning to the first of our visits for the Dinosaur Trail in the Winton area. We're heading out to the Age of Dinosaurs, which has the world's largest collection of dinosaur fossils. It's about a 20-minute drive just outside of Winton, and you do need to be there for one of their tour times, so access is just via a tour. So we're driving out there now and we're going to join up their 11 o'clock tour this morning.
So we've arrived at the reception centre and we're going to find out about the tours, but as you can see the grounds are massive. The dinosaurs didn't play nice and just do it around the info centre. You spread out and travel all around to see the remnants of the dinosaurs.
Harry's our dinosaur lover. He's always had a very intense interest in dinosaurs. So he's got his dinosaur t-shirt on today and he's very excited. So you arrive here at the Age of Dinosaurs and you check in at this reception area. They give you a booklet with your ticket and they book you in for tours throughout the day. So we've got our fossil laboratory tour, which is at 12 o'clock, our collection room tour at 11, and our Dinosaur Canyon tour, which is on a bus, at 12:45.
We're going in to start with a bit of a projection up on the wall here, so you find some seats. Yep, get in there. This here is Banjo, named after Banjo Paterson, who wrote Waltzing Matilda not far from here, and over there you can see the remnants of Matilda. And these two dinosaurs, the theory goes, died together, perhaps Banjo trying to eat Matilda, who was stuck in the mud, and ultimately killing Banjo, and Matilda and Banjo were found together in a billabong location not far from here, like you can tell by the layers of dirt.
Do you know? Hey Al, what do you call a blind dinosaur?
I don't think he saw us.
And I don't think he saw us.
So this is David Elliott, and he's the guy who discovered the first bone here in the dirt. And it was a rock, and he noticed that there was an unusual rock on the ground, and he called into the Queensland Museum and they said, yep, you found a dinosaur bone. So they started doing some digging. They went out there and started digging them up. The soil here is black soil with big cracks, and as the rain comes through and washes down, the bones tend to rise up in the soil, and that's how that was found. And today, a series of excavation digs each year, 3 weeks each year, start to find the bones that were in the dirt, digging them up with everything they can, from big loaders, diggers, and right down to toothbrushes, picks and hammers.
So just behind me is a picture of a sauropod. These are the type of dinosaurs that are mainly being found in this area around Winton and in Australia now. They're herbivores, so they know that they ate from these massive big forests, and they were over 100 metres tall, so massive big beasts. They had really long necks and long tails. They didn't move too quickly, but they're the type of dinosaur that they're finding bones from. So along here we have bones that have been preserved in plaster at the moment until they're taken out and carefully cared for. Each colour represents a different year and a different dig, and they're just waiting to be uncovered. Do you think you could help them, Harry? You think you could do one?
This is 10 years worth of work for the laboratory here.
We have all these bones still to prep on the wall over there. All these shipping containers here all have bones that have been prepped, ready to go into our new museum in about 5 years' time once it's built. Now, to work on these dinosaur bones, you don't need to have a degree, you don't need to go to university. You can actually come up here and do our course. And the only two prerequisites we have for doing our course, you must be 12 years or older, and you must be able to colour between the lines. That's normally where we lose a lot.
Alright, so we're up to tour number 3. We're going on the Dinosaur Canyon tour and we're hopping onto the bus. Alex and Harry are just over helping to hand out the pencils.
It's not compulsory. You don't have to do it. Lots of adults have great fun doing it. I had lots of people on my last tour doing it. They really enjoyed it. Here we go. Do I need some more kids?
Thank you.
Up here on the Valley of the Dinosaurs, looking down. Dinosaurs used to roam this land. Pretty cool here in the outback. Monsters in the outback.
This is called Death at the Billabong. So basically, as the dinosaurs were coming in to have a drink, they were slowly getting stuck in the mud, perhaps if they were older or not well or just got stuck there, and then they died, and most likely they'll find the leg bones or the femurs in the mud, and probably the other bones might have been taken away or eaten by other dinosaurs, so it's very rare to find a whole dinosaur skeleton.
Sometimes you need a bit of help because
We often think of dinosaurs as huge big monsters, as they call them here, but there were lots of dinosaurs that were actually smaller ones. So these little guys here, they say were very similar to chickens. They're carnivores, so they ate meat as well. Their mouths look pretty ferocious and they could move pretty quickly. Dinosaur, everybody dead?
I'm missing his head.
And the death in the billabong.
Yeah.
Do you know what dinosaur it is? Well, it's been a pretty cool visit for us today. We've had the 3 areas to visit: the showroom, the laboratory, and then down here at the galleries. And it's a really cool representation, having someone with you the whole time, a guide to actually tell you about what's happening and show you around, make connections between how they're digging out the bones down in the laboratory and then where the dinosaurs would have actually died up here in the galleries is pretty cool. Different to what we've seen anywhere else before and different to what you see generally in a museum. So well worth the visit, and we're looking forward to continuing that at the other 3 places for the Dinosaur Trail as well.
Right, onto the dirt. We're headed for the Dinosaur Stampede. It's about 110 kilometres from Winton towards Opalton. You can head down and see apparently up to 3,300 dinosaur footprints. We're going to go check that out today. Following up. No, we're not going to count them all. But just to, I guess, follow on from what we did yesterday at the Age of Dinosaurs.
So about 95 million years ago, they think there was a heap of dinosaurs here that were just resting, drinking water and eating. But then, in the trees and branches nearby, in the woods, there was a big dinosaur that then came along, which caused a stampede. They don't know if he was looking for lunch or if he was just coming to get a drink, or if he just walked out to give him a scare and then went back in. But all they know is that he's been here and that he's caused a stampede.
There's actually 3 different types of dinosaurs involved in this stampede, and here you can see the sharper, smaller feet of a chicken-sized little dinosaur. It was a scavenger, so it was a meat eater, but it'd eat dead things around and opportunistic with eggs and things like that, and these were all around. In addition to those, you can also see some larger footprints, and that's these ones over here. And these were the size of anything from a turkey to an emu size, and they were herbivores, and they were also down here as well at the waterhole, perhaps grazing on the sides of the banks or drinking water. And then all of a sudden this giant theropod came stomping in. So most of the smaller dinosaurs that we're here are heading this way, and the big theropod, the predator, came marching in. So all of a sudden all these little smaller dinosaurs started running out of the enclosed space, which was blocked basically because there was a river on one side and the only opening was back past this predator. So this guy came running in and then tried to turn around to chase them all out, and all of them started scattering. There was something like 180 different dinosaurs here at that time, and together in this space they've got 3,300 different dinosaur footprints across those 3 species of dinosaur. But there was just one of these sauropods, one predator. We've just done the dinosaur stampede, and now we're going to go for a walk along the Spinifex Walk. There's a platform leading out. It's a short little walk, 15 to 20 minutes, taking you up over the hills. I guess somewhat similar to the Dolomite walk we did just recently out on the, what was that, the West McDonnell Ranges?
Yeah.
We've finished up at the Opal Stampede, not the Opal Stampede.
No, we're stampeding
We'll
to
try
Opal.
again. We've finished up at the Dinosaur Stampede, and instead of taking a left-hand turn back to Winton, we've taken a right-hand turn, which takes us via Opalton. So this morning online we were able to purchase an fossicking license, which was $12 for a month for the family. So we're going to go and find one of the public fossicking areas in Opalton and try our luck.
Now, you're not going to believe this, but in Opalton you can find opal. That's what we're going to be looking for.
Harry just asked me how long we have to go, and we're not exactly sure. So we're following the tracks on this map here. So we came down from Winton to Lark Quarry, where the Dinosaur Stampede was, and now we're following this road down here to this next waypoint. The distances are actually marked if you do take the trail from the information centre in Winton, but we didn't start our gauge at that today. So we're coming down this road, which is about 50 kilometres, and then we'll turn left up towards Opalton, and that's the fossicking area that we're aiming for there. It's a standoff. Oh, no, we won.
Okay, he moved.
Oh, that ball was really short.
It was Arrow. There's a cow just sitting on the road, and he was equally stunned to see us coming at him.
Alright, here's the Opalton designated fossicking area. So anywhere in here we're allowed to fossick.
And there's a guy behind us just talking to us, and he said, oh, when you get into town I'll open up the information centre for you if you like. So all the locals we heard are pretty friendly, and it turns out the guy who works in the info centre's behind us, so he's going to tell us what we've got to do here in Opalton. We've got our tools of the trade here, so we've got a bucket for all the precious opal we find, and squirter bottles. So the idea is we get these squirter bottles, squirt the rock, and then it should reveal whether there's any opal in there. If we need to, we can crack them open with the back of the axe. Got a shovel for going through, digging down a little bit. And to start off, we've come in here to the info centre, but what we're going to do is we're going to walk out the back, and there's some old prospecting claims out the back, digs. We're going to go have a bit of a shuffle through them to see if we can find something. Jed's digging down, see what we can find. Hold up the sun, mate. Let's look at it.
How's that one going,
Oh
Al?
wow.
Any
There
luck?
you go.
Take
There's
it.
some opal.
You reckon you got one?
Take it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
in the potch there.
Ah, it is too.
Yeah, look, just there's a bit of opal.
Yeah, Harry's got
some.
some too. Have a look at Harry.
It is too.
Harry's
Good
got a bit
one.
there.
Harry, what do you got?
Where do you... And there's also some plots.
Oh, there is too.
There you go. Give that a crack open. Crack open.
What are you doing down there, honey?
Digging to China. So someone's little improvised mine here. So just come in and do a little bit of digging. But apparently it's in
They
the
didn't have
first.
any luck, but
Apparently it's in the first metre of the soil anyway. The good quality stuff. As you go down, it becomes a muddier opal. So it's not as good.
sort of what this one is here. So this is a bit muddier.
It's kind of in the way.
Anything there?
It's just a slither, isn't it? You don't need to spray it once. It's just
There's
to make
my
it
big
shine.
bit.
Oh, nice.
You want to have a go at the axe?
Hey!
We've been driving for a few hours now. It's about a 3-hour drive from Winton up to Julia Creek, where we'll be arriving shortly. Oh wow, look at this. So this is next to the caravan park. You get your tokens when you check in. Harry's gone straight up the top there with his newfound love of water slides. He's deciding which one to do. Alright, Harry.
Sorry?
Oh, awesome, okay.
Set up here at Julia Creek. The boys are watching a movie. We're about to go and do something pretty cool. You might have seen it online. We're off to the baths.
This is the famous Instagram bath area that we've probably all seen online. This is morning time here at the baths. You could actually come over here for sunrise and sit here on the couches, bring a coffee over. It'd be really quite pleasant. So there's 4 of the bathhouses and quite a nice new little sitting area here as well, out overlooking the paddocks. So what you do is you book these bath areas when you get here to check in. You can't pre-book them. Just book them when you check in, and you can have an afternoon or an evening session out here on your own. What are we doing, guys?
Cleaning my bike.
Why do our bikes need cleaning, Jed?
Because we've been through a lot of dirt roads and they've gotten really dirty.
They got super dirty.
Our seats
Oh.
have even at the back. Rocks have shut up from the wheels of the car,
Oh, no.
and they've started splitting open parts of the alley.
Jed started to clean here, but you can see that his handlebar was actually like a tan colour. We joked that he got new handlebars.
The other one's a bit worse still.
They need a super big clean, didn't they, Al? You cleaned yours? It's all good?
Mum, look, I'm trying to be clean. There's
Oh.
dirt all around there.
That's a lot of dirt in there, thanks to that
There was
plenty
way
highway.
more. It was up to there and like.
We are on the bikes again. So at the caravan park they've got some free bikes you can hire, well take basically, they're free. So we've just got the bikes and we're riding down. Apparently there's some donut feeding that you can do here in town in the mornings. Something like $2 a kid, $5 an adult. And we've got the kids' bikes off, we've got the hire bikes, off we go. So this is where they do the feeding here at the info centre. Quite a bit to do here at Julia Creek at their information centre. So there's an information centre, but they've also got a number of other things, including an auditorium. There's an artesian bore here. We're going to go and do the live donut feeding. There's a bunch of different information buttons you can press to get stories and information on the local area.
We're watching a video about what kids in this area do in Julia Creek, so it's a video all focused about the life of kids. So how reckons you'd like to be a kid here?
It was crazy before. There was the kids here they're allowed to ride in school. They're allowed to ride quad bikes. They're allowed to ride horses.
On the radio?
No, just whenever they want for schoolwork.
You know you're in the country when the locals walk their horses down the road. A little bit different.
We're back on 2-lane bitumen again. How good's that?
They're happy with it. More people around, busy between Richmond and Julia Creek. Quite a bit of traffic about. We haven't really seen anyone for a long time, so it's quite unusual.
So we've just arrived in Richmond and we're making up some sushi for lunch today. We love this as a lunch meal later on in our food cycle because we can easily keep the rice in the cupboard, and we just cooked that up ready last night. Then we've got our sushi packs. We've got some corn, some tuna, all things that keep in the cupboard. Carrots always last for ages in the fridge, and we've got some avocados because we buy those at different stages. So yummy lunch.
So we are at the Richmond pool. We've got a soundtrack in the background. We've got it to ourselves. It's just open 7 days a week between 2:30 and 6. It's the low season, so it's too cold for the locals. But hell, it's 32 degrees.
How good are small country pools? They look after them so well.
Awesome. So we're going to have a day here swimming. We're going to have our own little mini water carnival. It's going to be awesome.
Good diving technique.
We're going into Kronosaurus Corner here in Richmond. We've been given these, it's a self-guided tour here at Kronosaurus Corner, but we're told to go into the theatre entry first to go and listen to the story of Richmond and the Dinosaur Trail.
Dinosaurs prevail over what land there is. High above, flying reptiles populate the skies. However, most of the planet is covered by water. These vast oceans are teeming with life.
So we've just found out about the creatures that actually lived under the ocean all those millions
Aquatic
of years
reptiles,
ago.
they were known as.
Some of them are still around now. Sharks, turtles. They look very similar to how they do now. Haven't evolved too much.
This is a Kronosaurus fossil, and this is one of the most complete specimens found in the world. It was an armour-plated animal found not far from here, about 50 kilometres, by a farmer. The farmers, the station owners, would go about doing their daily work and just stumble across a different looking rock and usually call in the Museum of Queensland, and they come out and dig them up and find what they can. And you know, these finds are going back to the early 1900s. But still today, they're finding fossils out there. This is I guess what set it off, the 2014 discovery of a giant Kronosaurus. And these things were massive. They're the absolute apex predator of the sea. And we were recently in Darwin and saw a bit of an exhibit at Crocosaurus Cove. And they showed the bite force of a crocodile. And you can see the Kronosaurus's jaw and the crocodile's jaw. That had a lot of force, really powerful, destroyed some ice right in front of us, twice as hard bite force. So these things are absolutely killing machines. Wow. This is the Richmond fossil found by a farmer out here. It is Australia's most complete plesiosaur. It was found on farmer's land. He was cruising along and he saw some odd shaped sticks sticking up out of that black mud we've learned all about. And he called the Museum of Queensland. They came down almost immediately. Within a week, they'd uncovered this massive intact fossil, one of its only kind in the world, fully complete. This is what it would have looked like, this big boy up here, swimming around Richmond in the inland sea.
So the kids can come in here and see what they can find. Harry, come and see what you can find.
I found some white.
It's a little bit. Let's uncover it.
There's some white. There's some white.
Come on, boys. Harry needs your help.
You're going to call the lady from the lab in there.
Harry needs your help. Gentle, you don't want to break it.
Yeah, you've got to be gentle.
You've got to go gentle on it. I hope you didn't stand on it, Elle.
This is the most interactive I've seen.
Yeah. I think that's the one from out the front, the Kronosaurus. Yeah? Look like the Kronosaurus? I think it does. Alright, Harry, we've found one that we haven't read before. Harry has this series at home. Have we read this one though, Harry? Let's get into it. Harry and the Dinosaurs Go Wild.
There's just an interactive bench here where you can actually look at and touch the fossils. Fishtails. Yeah, and the moon rock. Ah, that's what it's like inside a moon rock. So these moon rocks, they're all around Richmond, and the way they're created is they get calcification around a bit of flesh or a bit of bone, and it just forms in a perfect round shape. So these rocks are all around, and inside them, more often than not, some form of fossil. Quite a big place and very, very impressive. And it's, again, different to the dinosaur stampede and the age of dinosaurs that we've seen so far. I'm sure Hughendon's going to be different again. So this is the stuff that you can find: fish vertebrae, gidgee stones. You can find scales of fish, shark teeth even. That'd be cool to find a shark tooth, wouldn't it, Harry? Yeah. Different types of fish parts. Little shells. Alright, so we've chosen this site. There's a whole area here and you can go and find whatever site you like. We've got a hammer, we've got a shovel, and this area hasn't looked like it's been too turned over. There's a bit of a hole dig over there. So there's a bit of a dig there. So we might do some digging around here and make this our little site. And we've got the car parked right here. We might even put the awning out. We're going to make a day of it. It's going to be our fossil dig.
We've continued our dino hunt. Justin's going for a big femur or something.
Yep, I'm going to find one.
What do you think our chances are?
Pretty solid.
So we're here at the fossil dig site in Richmond, and we're going to test our luck and see what we get today. Bit of fun.
Dinosaur poo.
Looking for poo.
Daddy, I found a fossil shell, and it's 100% a fossilized wood.
Petrified wood?
You can see the layers in the soil here, kind of in the rock I guess, how it's actually built up over time and how those layers have developed. So that's how the fossils are formed. They'll be sitting on top of one layer and then the next layer will develop and then they end up fossilised forever.
Oh, yeah, there's a pattern in there.
Good shell pattern in there?
Yeah, something there, it's one.
And I also got the bones.
Where'd you get that?
Bones in there, do you think? Okay.
I might have found myself a fish scale here. You can sort of see a bit of brown inside the rock, so it looks like it might be a prehistoric fish scale. We'll go into the centre and have a look and see if they can tell us. Looks like the ones we were looking at yesterday. This is what we're working on here. You can see it's quite a big size. Based on the museum, what we saw, it looks like it could be a turtle shell. So to give it for scale, there's one of my fingers, and I've uncovered about that finger wide. It's quite big, but it goes back into here. You can see it, but it becomes quite fragile down here. So it's a thin layer. It's called a sediment layer. There's a sediment layer just above it, which is hard rock. You can see that there. And then there's this shiny wooden bone-like, which is like the fish scale I found. It goes back. So we're going to just keep working away at it, trying to expose it. Is it a femur?
I don't know if it's a femur.
I was hoping for a femur. I declared this morning I want to find a femur, but is it a big find?
It's a big thing.
Possibly changing the history of Australia. It's pretty amazing to think that we're the first ones to touch this in millions and millions of years. G'day.
Good morning, how are we?
Good, how are you? We've been out of the dig site. Yeah. We're having some help.
Yep.
So we found this bit here.
Yeah.
Looks like a fish scale or something.
That is not. It's actually just a bit of shell.
Bit of shell.
So it's yeah, Dinosaurs one. So your clam
Okay,
shell, so it's
so
just
that
a
could
little
help.
tiny bit of that one.
Okay.
Because then you can see it here. You can see all the cross sections.
Yep.
So the cross sections of the shells. So
Okay.
you've actually got like
Shell.
a few layers
Okay.
all through
Well,
that
that
one.
might help us identify this. So what happened then was we kept digging down
Yep.
and found a little bit of shell or bone, which ended up, it's like one big plate.
Yep.
So that's about 8 hands in size.
Yep.
Is that sort of a...
Yeah, so yeah, in Australia can go to 1.8 metres wide. in
Okay,
diameter,
so that's what it is, so there'll be a thin layer on it. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
so we can just
yeah.
keep going in it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we'll just keep digging back, boys. There you go, boys. So it's one of these. We had planned on naming a dinosaur after the Davy family or the Taduing family, Tatuosaurus. Unfortunately, it's not today. It's a Nicaragua shell, which is a common limestone shell. They don't get that big, and they don't have any that big on display, but they're quite fragile, only a few millimetres thick. So we're going to go back, have a bit more of a play with it, and see if there's anything else around it. Here we go. We're in Hughendon and we've continued on the Dinosaur Trail and are just rolling into another Queensland outback town. We're going to go find our camp. Here's a spot just outside the Hughendon Showground. This is Flinders Discovery Centre. It's the last of the Dinosaur Trail for us at least. Here we go. Wow, that's cool. I haven't seen a big one upright like that yet. This is the Muttaburrasaurus, Australia's own dinosaur. So this was found near Muttaburra. Wasn't fully complete, so these had to be re-pieced together based on the parts they did have, and this is a model here. Decent sized dinosaur to be roaming Australia.
This is a really interesting map here that shows an outline of what Australia was like. If you can imagine around here, this was when it was connected to Antarctica. So we have the Muttaburrasaurus just here, who's this guy up here. And he lived inland. He was a land dinosaur that was in the Northern Territory and Western Australia area. So he sort of hung around in this area. And then here we have the inland sea that we saw in Richmond. So Richmond was about here, and now we're in Hughendon. So we're on the edge of this inland ocean, and we've got the Crocosaurus here, which was one of the ones that we explored. And then this giant squid and lots of the inland marine creatures that we saw at the Richmond Centre over the last few days, and that we were looking for fossils for as well.
The original Muttaburrasaurus was discovered by a boy who gave his mum what he thought was a pretty cool doorstop, and it turned out to be basically part of the jaw of the Muttaburrasaurus. And That was an amazing discovery in outback Queensland. So this is the Dinosaur Trail which we've completed. So we started out in Winton and we ended up going up to Julia Creek, coming back into Richmond, Hughendon, and then we're going on to ultimately Townsville. But this whole area was either inland sea or abutting the sea. Hughendon also has very much a big sheep history. So after checking out the dinosaurs here at the Hughendon display, we're going to go down and learn a little bit more about the sheep industry and what they still do here in Hughendon today. We're going to go see a real person shear a sheep. We're wandering up the main street of Hughendon here, and we're going to go see a sheep shearing demonstration that we've got tickets for. It's another quiet, sleepy town. There's lots of people who live here, but it's always quiet in the streets. I guess that's just coming from a Melbourne, busy place. This is a $1,000 pair of shears that they use today from Switzerland. Plugs into the machine over there, so just have a look at it. Coming willingly. So this is a merino. He's been sheared 6 or 7 times before, and he's a D-sex male. And he's going to start off doing the inside down the stomach first.
Like that.
Look how big it is. It's huge.
And then you got to go around the... Okay.
So this is the Rousey's job, to skirt it, take all the babbits off.
The person that does this is a rouseabout, but they're called wool rollers.
You can see here that this wool is really clean here, and it ran out of food around about here. So it got a bit dirty, a bit fluffy after that, so still a pretty good class of wool. But you can see it coming through in the wool itself. So a full bale, which is about 30 of those sheep, is $5,000. So the average shearer can shear around 160 sheep a day. If they're really clean, they might be able to do up to 300 sheep in a day. So you do the maths on that, there's a lot of money in it. And the farmers don't shear it, they get shearers to come in. So this guy's been shearing for 15 years, he's retired now, but they travel. So all the shearers would travel around the country, going to the farms and shearing the sheep for the farmers.
So that's it for the Dinosaur Trail. We've been looking forward to and planning it all year, and then it's happened just like that. 4 destinations.
That came up so fast and it was a lot of fun.